There's a militia targeting weather weapons. The new Pope, is extending an invitation to aliens, maybe. And our AI overlords are asking for more money to control you forever. This is Inverted World Live. I swear I'm not part of the militia. I know I'm the fake cloud guy, but I'm not involved with these people attacking the weather weapons. I am very interested in what they're doing. You know, there's fake clouds out there, and they are attacking us.
Supposedly.
There's real clouds. We know that. There's some real clouds. God made vintage clouds, but there are plenty of fake clouds out there that have been weaponized against humanity for a very long time.
It's also what's poisoning us right now. Is it part of it? Because the air has been bad this spring.
They deliver a lot of bad bioweapons through the fake clouds. That's why they're there. There's the cloaking clouds that are covering, like secret military projects. Then there's the clouds they use to sprinkle all of the bad poison onto you. Acid rain.
I feel like
Alex is laughing. I'm dead serious right now. Everyone who knows this knows that acid rain is a thing. We'll get into other ones that they do, but let's introduce ourselves.
Sure, go for it. Who are you?
I am typically Shane Cashman. And yourself?
I'm Alex Ayala.
And we're joined today by a special guest. Sir,
Okay.
Tell us, who are you?
Hi, my name is Brandon. I am a buddy of Tim's from back in the day in Chicago. Out here working with the Boonies right now, doing skate stuff and helping with the Discord. So thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome. It's awesome to have you here in our little room, our little shoebox. It's always fun when we have a third person in this room because it's like we only have so much oxygen left in this room before we have to go out or open a door. So hopefully one of us, we all make it out of here.
Yeah, I'll breathe a little slower than I'm used to. And it'll probably help us out.
Oh, between the clouds in this room, we're doomed.
The clouds. Can you bring up the militia article? I'm so fascinated with this. When this came across my algorithm today, X was like, this man Shane needs to see these people.
Okay, you gotta give me a second here.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, this is the one we're talking about?
Yeah, so let me read this. So, National Weather Service on alert after conspiracy. I'm gonna move because I'm like,
center yourself there.
National Weather Service on alert after conspiracy group threatens radar sites. Okay, so this is down in Missouri. The National Weather Service is on heightened alert after recent threats from a militia-style group that believes the agency's Doppler radar systems are being used as weather weapons. These people might listen to the show, for all I know, with all the fake cloud talk.
That's why I told you we need a picture of George Bush Sr. in here because that's our protector, I think.
I don't need ghouls in this room.
There's already ghouls in this room.
I don't need that ghoul. That is a evil lizard man.
And I'm not saying I like this person. I'm just saying he shows up
You think
everywhere.
no? That's you're what you're talking about is false idols. I don't want no HW false idol up in here. He's a golden calf who ran the CIA for a long time. Also, I just want to say I don't condone violence. I don't condone taking down anything you shouldn't. But I'm fascinated with these things. These, before I continue reading these, people remind me of the so I love Luddites, right, from like the 19th century.
Because you are one.
Oh yeah, they weren't anti-tech. They like technology. They used the technology of the day. They used the weavers to make the textiles. They were against being replaced by mass autonomy in the factories, right? But there's new Luddites. These guys might be new Luddites, but the new Luddites I was thinking of are the ones in the I forget what it's called. It's like a green zone in the UK where they put up those new cameras to detect the license plates of cars that aren't like to code with the new carbon footprint stuff. So these guys climb the poles and take down all the cameras, and they've been doing it so much. The government keeps putting them up in like new bigger cages, so like giant dystopian cameras in big cages just to like fine you for driving a car that's like from like the 2000s. It's ridiculous. So I feel like this is like an offshoot of this, but this is for the weather manipulation people. All right. Initial reports indicate the group identified by CNN as Veterans on Patrol, which is kind of like Paw Patrol,
right?
But for clouds, has targeted radar facilities operated by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, otherwise known as NOAA, which I always found hilarious.
It's in the name.
No, like they took the name from the Bible
Mm-hmm.
and then turned it into like their apparatus for weather control. The group reportedly sent threats calling the radar network a weapon and encouraging attacks on weather sites. Wow. They are the number one tool in our toolbox, said Herb Simmons, director of St. Clair County Emergency Management. Simmons emphasized the critical role Doppler radar plays in severe weather forecasting and emergency response. The NWS data reaches nearly 4 million people in the St. Louis region alone. Before I go on, how do you guys feel about rain? Real? Fake?
I hope it's
some
real.
real, some fake.
Are
Some real, some fake.
Are we talking about vintage rain here? Or are
Oh,
we...
good.
I don't know, Shane. You make me
This is good
question everything
terminology.
every day of my life, so I don't know anymore.
Well, like it's like okay, the hurricane happened recently in North Carolina. It's horrible, and it devastated all those homes. It was, and it happened in the mountains. And a lot of people were like, "How is that even possible?" Like they never get hurricanes there. So like the conversation became, "That's a fake hurricane." You know, I think it's very possible that things can be faked, even like hurricanes and earthquakes. I don't think it's conspiratorial to think that. Like, our government was literally researching how to make hurricanes. They were bombing weather systems off the coast, off in the Atlantic, to try to see if they could steer hurricanes and weather systems. So, like, maybe not all rain is fake. I don't think all rain is. Some rain is vintage, some is organic, but like we are constantly, we as in the government takes our money and is trying to build a way to play God. They're trying to make hurricanes. We know they're seeding clouds right now in the West for droughts. Like they keep running out of water for whatever reason, and they're like, well, just put. I'm spacing on the chemical they put in the clouds to make it rain. You know, like I don't know how safe all this
Well,
is.
maybe we need to make it rain so that California doesn't go on fire.
Or does California need to go on fire? I'm sorry, Californians. You know I love y'all.
They seem to have a regular schedule with going on fire, as you put it.
That's right.
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
right.
the time of year.
That's right. No, Alex.
Like I play video games with a buddy that lives out there, and I usually will randomly just ask him like, "Hey, are you on fire today, or what's going on
Right.
out there?" And he's like, "No, we're good. We're just covered in smoke. You know, it's everybody else that's burning." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I guess everybody kind of just flees to NorCal to kind of hide from,
Yeah.
you know, almost
fire
the
season.
Dune-like southern storms, you know, where it's just not inhabitable by humans.
Yeah. And a lot of people thought those fires were not naturally occurring.
No, and I mean, well, if you consider arson a naturally occurring thing,
Exactly.
you know, not to play into that too much, but there were a lot of people coming out afterwards, and a couple of people that were caught that actually attributed to arson. And I mean, you know, in a dry area, you know, light a match in the corner and watch the entire room burn in a matter of hours. You
Whole
know?
thing.
It just takes a spark, you know.
Do you remember the Canadian fires? Was that a year or two ago?
Yeah, that was a few years ago, I believe. But I was in Chicago at the time,
Okay.
and there was this thick, creepy mist that just engulfed the entire city.
Did it change the color of the sky?
Smog.
It changed. It changed the taste in your
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah. That was bizarre.
And you couldn't. It wasn't something that you could brush your teeth or use mouthwash and
Right.
wash out. It was like you were just breathing in these it's just tasted like chemicals.
Yeah. It was really disgusting.
And it was everywhere. Like it was in every inch of the air.
Yeah. I remember we were actually driving to New York from here the day it started. And as we got closer, the sky turned orange.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really bizarre. And then you look at the pattern of the fires as they started. It was like almost a systematic,
A controlled burn.
controlled burn of Canada.
Yeah.
Like Trudeau walking around with a torch from here to here to here. That was very bizarre. But
But
they
I
were
mean,
trying to say it was climate change
If they could create rain, why not see it in a beneficial way?
because you shouldn't play God, and everything they add to this to create rain isn't like real. It's all like something else, right? So like the fake clouds things is like there's a whole different bunch of fake clouds, right? If we believe there's forever chemicals in our environment, which there are from all the things we've done to it, like the bombs, and just think of all the things we've done through war. And like where I grew up in New York, we had an IBM factory on the river, and they were allowed to dump all their chemical waste into the Hudson River. There's a giant sign on the river by the train tracks that said, "This is allowed." And with a pipe. It was like in The Simpsons. Like it was insane. It blew my mind when I saw that. So if that's all there and you know how clouds work, all this stuff is going up already and you shouldn't be messing with it. I think it's already bad.
But
It's
I
already
mean,
bad.
you know, doctors play God.
To a certain extent, yeah.
You need doctors.
No,
Maybe you don't. I don't
no,
know.
I'm anti-doctor now. Actually, I should say it.
I almost like to
Pro
think that
shaman.
doctors defy God.
Ooh,
You know,
what
not so
way?
much as like, I mean, you know, you've got scientists and stuff that, you know, are trying to create test tube babies and things like that, you know, and
yeah.
have been highly successful in doing that.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like, really, in my head, doctors are trying to counter what nature wants, you know,
Yeah.
which sometimes and most of the time isn't for the best, you
Oh,
know,
for sure.
for a person.
Yeah.
But in instances, you know, like cancer, things like that, this is where, you know, nature is taken over and is trying to end, you know, a small chunk of the species in whatever way that it can. And doctors are trying to counter that. So in a way, it seems to me like, yeah, while they could be considered playing God, it's almost like they're trying to defy him.
You got cancer from the fake clouds, though. So what if the doctors are trying to help? You know, what if we're like the fake clouds are the ones behind the population?
Well, you would
control?
like to think that if that were the case, then they would also be trying to find a way to get rid of these doctors too, right?
True.
You know,
True.
they don't want any interference when it comes to that. You know, and the U.S. has been, you know, this quote unquote playing God thing, you know, since back in Los Alamos with the days of Oppenheimer and, you know, creating the atomic bomb. And, you know, when you get down to the technology of things now, it really seems more likely that they would be trying to weaponize more natural forces.
Yeah.
So I don't think the idea, you know, that they're creating hurricanes and things like that is that far fetched.
No, yeah, for sure. And I actually agree with the doctors thing. It's like I think there's good doctors, obviously, but like we got kicked out of so many doctors' offices in the past few years because we wouldn't take certain things for our children, and they literally can't allow that. So you're like made a pariah in certain places. And I think there's a way to do things without all the big pharma stuff, and big pharma, in my mind, a big clouder, hand in hand, these people. And it is trying to, but like all this stuff has been weaponized against us. And then, you know, if you can go back to that militia thing, because I think this is like fascinating, and now this is like an actual thing. Where did I leave off? Sorry, guys, I'm leaning in because I broke my glasses playing with my children, and now I'm literally showing my age now. I'm gonna have like my geriatrics posture, and I'm squinting up on the screen. Oh man,
Unable to breathe.
they're like, what does it say, militia? I'm like waving my cane. I'm literally old man waving at cloud right now. Wow. I can't believe that. So CNN reports that NOAA officials have received internal warnings about the group advocating for penetration drills to identify weaknesses at radar sites with the goal of ultimately destroying them. The Southern Poverty Law Center, so this is a very not a place I trust, classifies Veterans on Patrol as an anti-government militia, which does sound quite nice. According to the SPLC website, Veterans on Patrol, VOP, that's cool, it's like a metal band, is an anti-government militia located in Pima County, Arizona. Wait, hold up.
Sorry.
It's okay. The founder, Michael Lewis Arthur Meyer, is a Christian nationalist who rallies hard-right extremists and conspiracy theorists around the issue of immigration and encourages vigilantism? Gigantism? I don't know. Without their monitoring, without their prediction, it will create problems for these communities when storms decide to raise their ugly heads. So, have these people spoken out yet? Like, has there been like a video, you know, like an announcement from the militia where it's like, we've taken over your radar systems? Where
all your base are belong to us.
Yeah. Like, how come there's no presence? Is there no social media presence for this militia? There's no PR other than me right now. Fascinating. What does the political response say? First alert for asked Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who calls St. Louis home. He believes politics on local unrest may be contributing to these threats. He said no. Clearly, that's inexcusable. People are doing their jobs.
Sure.
We rely on those forecasts to control people. No, he didn't say that part for those listening. Growing up in this region in times of severe weather, when people are trying to find safety, there is no room for that in a civilized society. That's for sure. Says the people controlling the weather. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What civilized society?
We don't have a civilized society. It's fake. It's a fake civilized society. We're just like buying into this thing. Can you pull up the, I think I sent you a Wikipedia page for the Operation Popeye. Did you get
Yes.
that? So I just brought Wikipedia because it's Wikipedia. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you can rely on
But,
this for sure.
but it's just, this is how, like, this is a mainstream thing. People who've been listening to the show know about it. I've written about it a bunch. But, like, talking about the sky being weaponized, like, this is going back to Vietnam, Operation Popeye. Well, I don't have to read it. You guys know what it is. Like, they tried seeding the clouds to create, to accelerate typhoons, like in monsoon season, to flush out the Viet Cong from their tunnels during the war. This is something they've been thinking about for a long time. So the militia is going after more like, I think it sounds like they're going after like things, like machines that are trying to manipulate the weather. And we were doing it in the sky then. And this is not, by the time in the 60s we were doing this, I think the hurricane thing I was talking about earlier was happening already at least a decade, maybe 2 decades before this.
Well, in Vietnam, wasn't it reported too that it was just like a Noah's Ark situation with just 40 straight days of rain?
Did you say Noah?
Yeah, the bad kind though. But
Yeah.
but they tried, like, again, like playing God. Like, it was an insane rain, and I think it's out of hand. Like the hurricane, they tried bombing, or they did bomb. According to them, the papers, the hurricane veered in a way they didn't expect it to. So like, they might have actually
Imagine
tweaked
that,
it, and it went and did some destruction in a place it wasn't supposed to go. But again, like, weather patterns, as far as I know, do weird things sometimes.
And that's a testament to the fact that you really, no matter how hard you try or how good you get at it, you can't control a force of nature.
No.
It is never going to be you will never have a leash around that thing. You're not going to be able to walk it around like a dog. Nope. It's going to take a life of its own, and it's going to do what it wants to do.
Exactly.
There's nothing you can do about that. So the only thing you can hope to do is push it in the direction that you want it to go and just hope for the best.
Right. It's like that video. I saw that video recently went viral of the people diverting like a stream into the ocean. Just that started out really small, and they were just digging away, and all of a sudden, like, it became a huge issue.
Surfers do that to, like,
it was surfers actually. I was watching doing it.
They actually don't want you to do that, obviously, because it completely just erodes the beach. But when you see just from just a couple of scoops in a small stream, the next thing you know, you've got a full-on outlet, like river, that is crashing into the ocean, and this will wash you out.
Yes. It was crazy.
They got their speak into the mic a little bit more. So
they got their
turn
footage
towards you, more the other way.
Like this way?
Yeah.
They got their footage. So surfers were like doing some pretty sweet moves, and then the beach just gave way.
Yeah,
like,
and then that's it. No more beach.
Yeah.
And
You're done. You're done. That's like a little Operation Popeye. And then we've just been using the sky for so much. It's not good. The sky's been under attack for a minute. Operation Sea Spray. We, the government, the collective we, the taxpayer. This is when, like, in the 60s, I believe, maybe 50s, we sent bioweapons into the air. We sprayed chemicals, like I forget. Can you look it up, actually? I forget exactly what they sprayed in the sky. Over San Francisco. Did you hear this story? Did you know about this? And, like, people got sick, really sick. And this is how the government was training on how to take care of a bioweapon emergency. So, like, let's just deliver one and see what happens.
That's scary.
and I think it's Sea Spray.
That's a live test scenario.
Yeah. So Operation Sea Spray was 1950. So for context for those listening, this is just a few years after we hired a lot of people who were Nazis in Operation Paperclip, who also like to do weird experiments on people, like the Japanese were also doing, and like ourselves. So it was like a match made in heaven after World War II. So Navy's secret biological warfare experiment in which I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to say it. Serratia, without my glasses. But globally, can you say that one? Can you say that one?
Bacillus.
Globigi.
Serratia.
Bacteria.
Marcensins?
Yeah. Whatever that is, it sounds bad. Like, it sounds like something we shouldn't put in people. Anyway, it's a bacteria, and it was sprayed over the San Francisco Bay Area in California in order to determine how vulnerable a city like San Francisco may be to a bioweapon attack. I also just, like, this is just Wikipedia. Like, it's way worse than this, but this is like Wikipedia's very watered down version. There has been speculation that the experiment may have contributed to 1 death and at least 10 illnesses, but no link has been demonstrated. Oh yeah, because the government will let you know that it was actually not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
This thing we were doing.
I mean, San Francisco, I guess, has been going downhill since 1950 here. So
literally, yeah. Have you ever tried to park there? It's insane.
We were just talking about
I haven't been there, but it is like literally. I've watched what is it, Vertigo, that takes place in San Francisco, the Hitchcock film.
Is it?
I think it is. I could be wrong, but like the hills are insane. Full
and
house.
also like we talked about the poop map a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
Gross.
So this is what we do. The other thing, not saying I don't condone violence. I'm just saying the people out there should keep in mind that Bill Gates is trying to block the sun. So another thing about the sky being under attack, you can look up Scope X. That is Bill Gates' wet dream on how to tackle climate control, and it's literally blocking out the sun with dust. And the government is like, not a bad idea.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this what they claim killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah. If you believe in dinosaurs, for those out there, yeah.
God, don't get it started, Brandon.
This is something that they say in that narrative is one of the theories, that caused like the Ice Age and stuff.
The meteor, I think, struck the now Gulf of America.
Thank you.
And created the crater that is the Gulf of now America.
That's right.
And dust filled the air and didn't settle for
and
X
maybe
amount of
maybe
years.
that's just a story the elites created to then make this sound like a appealing thing to save us. That doesn't make sense at all. But I don't know. I don't buy that.
I mean, there's some information attributed to carbon dating and layers of things that they found that just had absolutely no business being there.
Oh yeah.
So there's that to look at, but like it just makes you wonder, oh yeah, hey, Big Bang Theory, boom, there it was.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, that's convenient.
It's that easy. But that all goes back to like the religion of science that we were dealing with, whether it's the doctors or the scientists who run this country. So I think we're in a bit of a technocracy right now. Technocracy being a form of government that's fully run by engineers and scientists. And we saw that during COVID because all of a sudden they're in charge. Someone like Fauci is the head of a technocracy, or part of it. He was the expert. That didn't go so well. And we're seeing that happen now again with this administration. A lot of experts, a lot of, like I said in the beginning of the show, the AI overlords infiltrating and taking over. But, this Bill Gates stuff, this guy he says he wants to save the world, but it seems to be the exact opposite. Like, he wants to save the world the same way they wanted to test bioweapons in San Francisco. And I already think right now in San Francisco, our government is, I don't know why it's San Francisco again, but they're already sending up dust into the sky to try to do their own version of Scope X. Did you pull up the Scope X article?
Yeah, I think I did. Let's go. Well, it's also like, where the tech people live now, and Elon Musk and all, it's all in San Francisco. Well, I guess Elon Musk is.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Who wrote this? Where is this?
Forbes.
Look at Forbes. And when is this?
Is that Forbes?
2021.
Yeah.
I'll just read a little bit of this. I forget what Inverted World book this might have been in. Maybe the first one. Probably the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Microsoft's evil billionaire. Imagine if they said that. That'd be amazing. Microsoft's super villain, evil billionaire founder Bill Gates is financially backing the development of sun dimming technology. And this is back in the news. So this is from 2021. This is literally, they're talking about it again now. And this is Bill Gates, the guy who's making mosquitoes to like track your DNA. In my opinion, he's making mosquitoes to steal your blood and bring them back to make a personalized bioweapon. But we'll get back to that some other time. The stratosphere controlled perturbation. I can't even read today. Perturbation. How do you even say that word?
That sounds good.
That sounds wrong.
It does.
Experiment ScopeX, launched by Harvard University scientists, aims to examine this solution by spraying non-toxic calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere, a sun-reflecting aerosol that may offset the effects of global warming. This is amazing.
Doesn't aerosol eat the ozone layer?
Right? Weren't we told that the 60s and all that hairspray ate a hole in the ozone? Widespread research into the efficacy of solar geoengineering has been stalled for years. Oh, I wonder why. Due to controversy. Opponents believe such science comes with unpredictable risks, like bombing a hurricane, not knowing where it's going, or spraying bacteria into the sky, including extreme shifts in weather patterns not dissimilar to warming trends we already are witnessing. We are already witnessing. Environmentalists fear that a dramatic shift in mitigation strategy will be treated as a green light to continue emitting greenhouse gases with little to no changes in current consumption and production patterns. Alex, is there a video of him talking about this? Could you I've never actually seen Bill Gates talk about it. I'd love to see this little lizard man in his sweater talk about blocking the sun.
I mean, they make it sound like a deterrent, but they're also making it sound like it's a backup plan.
Right. Oh, of course. I mean, that's what all these like tech
It's a fail-safe,
villains do.
you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they all do. It's like Elon talking about Mars. You know, like he almost wants
And
Earth
another
to,
interview.
to be destroyed. Because he wants Mars. Like he is talking about how we only have so much time left, and his thing goes back to the sun as well. Just recently, he was on Fox News telling I forget that guy's name, but telling the host the sun's going to eat us, so we have to go to Mars. Like, oh man.
I mean, with stuff like this happening, I'm starting to want Mars.
I don't know. Maybe
Like-
this isn't it. Shit.
Sorry,
Sorry, everybody.
it doesn't work. There's no. It's okay. If there's not, I was just curious. Like, I haven't really seen him discuss it. I've seen him talk about mosquitoes. You've seen the video where he sets the mosquito loose in the.
No, I haven't seen that.
Maybe that's one to pull out. In a crowded auditorium.
The
Sorry, Alex,
mosquitoes
I'm
thing
throwing a
is new
million
to
things
me. I
at you.
haven't heard of that yet.
The mosquito thing. I mean, the theory he has been breeding mosquitoes, and he's also maybe it's not him doing this part, but there is someone, I think, using CRISPR, like you were talking about earlier, with the science to create all these weird bioengineered animals. I think they're using a CRISPR technology to create mosquitoes that don't have the proboscis. Is that the word?
Proboscis?
Proboscis, tomato. But it's a mosquito that can't draw blood. Imagine that. So like, what?
Isn't that a mosquito's entire purpose?
What's the purpose
to
of
draw
even,
blood?
why'd you even make these things? What do you got here?
This is the
Alex?
best thing I could find. I don't know if he's talking about exactly
Well, let's
what we're
just
talking
let's just hear
about.
from Bill Gates.
Okay.
Let's see what he has to say.
Without substantial change getting the greenhouse gas emissions down. We are on a path to large increases in the planet's temperature. You hear a lot about the progress in reducing the cost of renewable energy to make electricity. But generating electricity isn't the only contributor to climate change. It accounts for only about 25% of all greenhouse gas emissions. With greenhouse gases, you have the electricity sector, but you also have manufacturing, transportation, agriculture, buildings, as well as about 10% from other sources. We need innovation, going out there and finding inventors across all these different areas and understanding their energy R&D activities to make sure that they have a path from their laboratory to scaling up into very large numbers. For electricity, wind energy and solar energy, prices are coming down. So the electricity sector has to either be able to store that energy or have other zero emission sources to maintain the reliability that we all depend on. Manufacturing. Here we're talking about all the stuff we buy, furniture, beds, cars themselves,
Go back.
all of those things.
Can you pause on
Just
him on the mattress thing?
cars
Who
themselves,
is he on the mattress with?
furniture, beds.
Okay.
The guy also. Wait.
So there's a guy
Behind
on a
him?
mattress on a painting behind him.
I was gonna say, is that the painting of the guy that's
What's
on the
that?
mattress, but he's laying on a couch very sexually?
With
Doesn't he
Bill
look like
Gates.
He's a provocateur.
Is this from Epstein Island?
This is
disgusting. This guy is so disturbing. I don't know how people look at this guy and be like, he should save the earth. This is our only hope.
He's a billionaire. You can
Is
trust them all.
this soft lizard man? Okay, we can hear a little
The
more from
cars themselves, all of those things, just the very process of making cement is CO2 emitting. There's a lot of embedded energy. We'll have to change the way that we do that manufacturing. Transportation. Immediately people think about passenger cars, and they are a big part of that. But transportation is quite broad. We've got railroads, we've got ships, we've got planes. And so every one of those has to get to zero emission. Agriculture. This is a category that often people forget about. Cows actually emit quite a bit of methane, which is one of the more powerful greenhouse gases.
He's cow
and
Hitler.
So
trying to
inventions
take out the
like
cows.
artificial meat may have to play a role here.
Oh my god.
Buildings.
Okay, we can stop there. Let's
We
just
need
stop
to-
with the artificial meat thing. This guy wants to block the sun, and he also wants you to have artificial meat because the cows fart too much. How is this not just
They put the
hilarious
dust.
to everybody?
They put the dust in the. This guy.
Couldn't he use the cow farts to block the sun?
Maybe.
Don't give him any ideas.
Maybe we're onto something.
The artificial thing is nuts. Like just the other day on IRL, I was talking about how we brought up the video of the robot with the human brain that they're trying to put inside of it.
You're right.
And like that might be a fake video. Like I think it's actually a fruit someone put in it, to get that image. But they are literally right now in labs making. First of all, they have little rat brains, like a collection of rat neurons that are hooked up to the game Doom, and they're playing Doom. Rat brains are in a lab playing Doom. There are rat brains in another lab flying fighter jets in a simulation. There are miniature human brains that we've grown in labs put inside of spider drones right now. They're called organoids, and they're typically made, as far as we know, taken from fetal tissue. So someone's fetal tissue is then used in a lab to create these little mini brains. And there are companies using a lot of these organoids to power their computers because they think it's better and more, I think, more green. It's organic. It's organic. What'd you pull up?
Organoids.
Organoids. An organoid is a miniaturized and simplified version of an organ produced in vitro in 3 dimensions that mimics the key functional, structural, and biological complexity of the organ. Can you actually try to find the rat brain thing? Because I think there's video of them playing
in Doom.
Like, why did they have to pick Doom? Why did they, that just sounds apocalyptic. Make them play Doom. What?
I mean, what's the name? Oh.
On YouTube, I'm sure there's something.
Well, I have an article.
I used to love playing Doom.
It's a great
back
game.
in the day. In fairness, it's a great game.
Great game.
Why that particular?
Why aren't
game
they playing
was
Carmen
chosen?
Sandiego?
Why in Grand Theft Auto 6 and see it, we'll see what they do.
They're trying to create getting Doom running on things is a favorite pastime of the tech inclined. With its what is that? ID's classic title now available on anything from. Wait, what am I reading?
I don't know. Something
Is this AI written? Did a rat brain write this?
I mean, what PC gamer?
So the headline is Mad Scientist YouTuber is growing a rat brain and teaching it to play Doom. If a YouTuber's doing this, I guarantee you, they've already got someone out in the world who's a rat brain clone hybrid.
This might be a video.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is something different.
Is it?
But play it. This is actual.
This is Rats in Doom.
Rats in Doom. That's the name for the episode, by the way. That's the name for the episode. Rats in Doom.
Oh, I hate YouTube. I mean, I love YouTube.
Why did they put like a Seinfeld inspired bass track?
It was probably free.
This thing looks like a mini Hadron Collider.
Yo, that's a whole other problem. I guarantee you people have many Hadron Colliders right now.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening? Where's the rat?
Is there a rat in that sphere?
No, what is this? Oh, God.
Okay, so he's licking.
Why is this happening?
I think the rat is using its tongue to
play?
control the game, which is like a very primitive version.
I can't.
It's a primitive version of Neuralink, honestly. Like that's how there's guys at the Neuralink that have to use their mouth or other types of brain-computer interfaces to do this. So that rat is learning how to.
Is just holding it there in a little straitjacket with like
Yeah.
an arm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awful.
Yep. It's
I'm
like
just going to
Clockwork
write down
Orange.
Rat Brains and Doom. don't
Rat
I?
Brains and Doom.
Yeah.
The greatest title we've had, I think, in the history of the show. That's also my new band name. That is insane. But like this whole experimentation on the animal stuff is actually coming to an end in some ways, but I'm sure it's not in others. Like last week, Trump signed an executive order to end gain of function research. And I think hopefully some of that is related to the beagle research that Fauci was doing. Fauci was just mutilating beagles for a long time. We've known this for a few years. Well, at least I've known this for a few years. But I'm hoping they put that to an end. Elon has what he calls I think he calls it Monkey Disneyland, where they do all the Neuralink testing, and a lot of those monkeys die. Like their brains explode out of their heads.
That doesn't sound like Disneyland.
It does not sound like Disneyland. Maybe on a bad day. But like that is insane to me.
Maybe that's why Disney's overpriced now.
Because your brain might explode.
Yeah.
I could afford Monkey Disneyland these days.
Yeah.
But not real Disneyland. But yeah, he's had a lot of issues. Like a lot of pigs have died with the Neuralink situation. I think their brain keeps rejecting it. He's had success with a few of these 3 men that we know of who are paraplegics and have it. And that's why I'm saying like that rat is like a very primitive version of what they're doing because they're stuck in one place because they're paraplegic. And I think, well, there's, yeah, one guy's not his mouth. It's actually hooked up obviously to their neurons. And so through their neurons, they're controlling the computer, which is more like the actual neuron, rat neurons in a test tube in a laboratory controlling a flight fighter jet. It's insane stuff.
So with the transgression of this, I'm already looking ahead at the ultimate goal for this, and you guys have seen the movie RoboCop.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, love RoboCop.
The thing takes over, right? Is that
He dies, and they keep his brain alive, and they put him into a cyborg body.
Yep.
right? Okay.
And he's still him, and he goes on continuing his police work. And as torturous as it sounds, they basically found a way to give that man immortality as long as his brain didn't decompose in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So essentially finding a way to preserve a brain, attach it to a functioning body, and have that be lasting is base definition of creating immortality
Yeah, which is the dream of transhumanists,
and playing God.
right? So like Ray Kurzweil, we've talked a lot about on this show. His dream forever is how he can become immortal by uploading his consciousness onto a computer, and he has like a very primitive version of his father, I think, uploaded. So he has like a computer who's speaking like his father's consciousness, and he holds conversations with it, like we might today with Grok or something. But he's been doing that for years, right? And that's what these people legitimately want, is to play God. Like I'm talking about the AI overlords, and we can get into that in a minute. All these people from Silicon Valley, a lot of these tech guys, these venture capitalist types, they're all of them into transhumanism. Elon is, I can like things Elon does, but also like the things he does that I don't like are way worse than the things that I like. I like him. I don't like him for a lot more reasons. I can appreciate Twitter. I think it's fun now, although it has a lot of issues. But he's literally going to build a future where there's going to be more robots than people. He said that explicitly in November on Rogan, and he wants Neuralink. And now you might say, well, that's just for people who need it, who are paraplegic. And I think that's beautiful, and the short-term benefits are great. But much like the smartphone, there will be a world in which you will not be accepted or a part of modern society unless you have a Neuralink, just like an iPhone or Android. You'll just be out. You'll be Amish basically without Neuralink. It's going to be hooked up to your Twitter. It's going to be hooked up to your banking, and you're going to be left out. And it will just be part of like the normal routine of your day. And he's also saying like you can have robots, my robots, watch your kids. They can be your babysitters.
You think there's identity theft now?
Oh, right, exactly.
Like
it's gonna.
We're talking stealing a person's entire identity,
your consciousness,
and being able to live as them.
In and out. They'll take your thoughts, right? Like right now, I think we talked about this on a show before. Like Zuckerberg and Meta have created a thing where they can translate your brain waves into the images they are in your head. They're literally doing that right now. And then
that's terrifying.
Like just a few weeks ago, there was a whistleblower from Facebook who I believe she was testifying before the Senate. Could be wrong. It might have been the House. But she said that, Facebook is, we know Facebook is dirty, but what they do, something that really scared me is if, say, like a 16-year-old girl deletes a selfie off of Facebook, the AI they have there immediately will send that information to advertisers because they think she must be sad if she didn't like that selfie to some degree. So advertisers know people are more inclined to buy stuff when you don't feel good about yourself. So they just pump her full of ads targeted at her. And this is a whole demographic of like, I heard her talk about, I think it was from 17 to 20-year-old women. That's just one little
ad targeting is already scary enough.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
You're talking about tools that are being used by the NSA
exactly
to watch people in their daily lives that tap into their cell phones and listen to what you're doing. And immediately, and I mean, you guys have all seen where, your friend comes over and says, oh, hey, yeah, I'm thinking about getting into 3D printing. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, cool. And you look at your phone and it's already showing you ads for 3D printers.
Yep.
Like this is scary.
They're listening,
guys.
So imagine when they can do all that, plus with a thing in your brain plus with being able to translate what the wavelengths are saying, or what they're like, interpreting just brain patterns into the images they are. There's nowhere to run.
They're going to know your thoughts before you do.
Yes.
And they're going to be broadcasted.
Well, it's great.
They're
going to
give you your thoughts.
It's great you bring that up. Actually, you want to Google UK murder prediction. Wait till you see that this just
Does it
happened.
have to do with knives?
Yeah, all of it.
I could already predict that one.
Yeah. Dude,
like
for
a
sure.
Minority
Stabbings
Report
in
style.
Crystal Palace.
It is like Minority Report, but it's called Murder Prediction Unit, something like that. It just started like a few weeks ago, in the UK. Activists accuse UK government of developing. And when is this from?
A month ago. October.
Can you try to find one from like, I think it was April, because they literally started a whole murder prediction or a homicide prediction unit in the UK.
Okay, this is. Okay, here we go.
Because these people were right, because they were. UK creating murder prediction tool to identify people most likely to kill. Exclusive.
I mean, I Google a lot of crap for
Yeah.
the show, so
You're done.
I'm doomed.
You're done. You're done.
I'm done.
Algorithms allegedly being used to study data of thousands of people in project critics say is chilling and dystopian. I'll just read a little bit. The UK government is developing a murder prediction program, which it hopes can use personal data of those known to the authorities to identify the people most likely to become killers.
This is gonna be me, dude.
This is not good.
And I do our thumbnails. It's like bombing, serial killers,
Yep.
Waco,
Yeah, you're
murder.
done. You're done.
My algorithm is
You're
so
done.
screwed.
We're all this data thing. I don't think people realize how like the data is gold to these
Yeah.
companies.
Well, and I was also just going down this TikTok rabbit hole of which I always do here, of like even Indeed, people who like can't find jobs and are going on Indeed, and it's been discovered that like Indeed
yeah.
is phony baloney. They're just sending your information out, like it's not even real jobs.
Yep. Yeah, it's not real jobs.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's like other programs too.
And this episode of Inverted World is brought to you by Indeed. And they also use AI to read your resumes.
Yeah.
And if AI, well, not just them, but like a lot of people do, if your resume is not connecting with whatever the AI has been tasked to find, you're out.
Has to have
So
all
there's
the-
no person looking at these resumes.
I was going to say at this point too, wouldn't AI be the one posing as a person reaching out to you?
Oh, 100%.
That was the
To
other thing I
gauge your
saw.
interest in a job.
Yes.
Even these people are going on job interviews, and AI is conducting the
Yes.
interviews. I sent you that screen.
Oh,
recording
yeah.
of
Oh
it.
my God.
They're conducting the interviews, and it's like going all wrong.
Can you look up Massive Blue,
Yeah.
the company? They are creating bots, essentially, like AI bots to target people. I think to help the government find bad actors, illegal immigrants, stuff
Do
like
you
that.
want the actual website? Or you
Let's see
want,
what the
like,
actual website says. Yeah, I actually have never looked at it. And this is just one case. Like, there's a ton of these things.
No, this is crazy because you're talking about eliminating threats before they even happen.
Yeah.
And I'm a Marvel buff. I love Marvel movies,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna reference Captain America: Winter Soldier here,
Yep.
where they had built these giant helicarriers with the capability of identifying hostiles and eliminating thousands of them in seconds.
Right.
And Steve Rogers says, I thought the punishment came after the crime.
Right.
So where does that leave you if you even happen to think a bad thought with this
Exactly.
neural thing that you're talking
Yep.
about and say, oh, I'm just for 1 second, I thought maybe I want to steal a bag of Doritos from the gas station.
Yep.
And now you're being targeted by drones outside before you even get to your car because they think that you have criminal
It's
intent.
literal thought crimes. And like innocent until proven guilty will be meaningless. Like, it's going to change. Like,
Not being
everything.
allowed to have even an impure thought is the
Right.
most anti-human thing I've ever heard in my entire
Exactly.
life. Because
Exactly.
humans are corruptible. Humans do make mistakes.
Yep.
But it is about being allowed to correct these mistakes and change that
Yep.
grows a human.
Yep. It's going to also attack imagination. Like the things we talk about on the show. And imagine all the
It's going to
writers out
destroy it.
there.
You're going to be scared to think.
Exactly. Scared to think. And people already are. Like, they already are scared to think certain things and say certain things.
So
So
look
this
at
is,
all the movies we get at now. It's like it's
Exactly.
all AI and or
This is the next
unimaginative.
version. And before we get into Massive Blue, like, this conversation is just making me think of, Lavender AI is a thing. And they use it in Gaza right now. It's the Israeli government, even though they've said they don't use it. This is AI, an AI death machine. You guys heard of this?
Lavender, what is it?
Lavender AI. I'm throwing so many things at you. Sorry.
okay.
But like, yeah, Massive Blue is one thing. Look up Lavender AI. There might be a few articles about this. I'll read some of that because this is like the Skynet version. You know, like what we're talking about, all this stuff already so far, is attacking your life and stuff, but not so much assaulting you and murdering you. Listen to this. Lavender, the AI machine directing Israel's bombing spree in Gaza. So in 2021, a book titled The Human Machine Team, How to Create Synergy Between Human and Artificial Intelligence That Will Revolutionize Our World was released in English under the... I want to see where they talk about... Okay, yeah, the 972 magazine did a good investigation on it, and they reference it in the second paragraph. So a new investigation by 972 magazine and local call reveals that the Israeli army has developed an artificial intelligence-based program known as Lavender, unveiled here for the first time. According to 6 Israeli intelligence officers who have all served in the army during the current war on the Gaza Strip and had firsthand involvement with the use of AI to generate targets for assassination. I'm going to repeat that. The use of AI to generate targets for assassination. Lavender has played a central role in the unprecedented bombing of Palestinians, especially during the early stages of the war. I don't care how anyone feels about the war right now. I'm not talking about which side you're with. I don't care. I'm literally saying to you, this is not an article, everyone, for those listening, there are people using AI to generate who they're going to assassinate. In fact, the article says, according to the sources, its influence on the military's operations was such that they essentially treated the outputs of the AI machine as if it were a human decision. Let me see. In that next paragraph, there's like an error rate for this, which is alarming. Does this actually have it? Yeah, you can go up a little bit to that. Formally, the Lavender system is designed to mark all suspected operatives in the military wings of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, including low-ranking ones, as potential bombing targets. So, okay, that says it got like 37,000 people. But somewhere, oh, here it is in that paragraph at the bottom. You can leave it right there. They use this despite knowing that the system makes what are registered as errors.
As regarded as errors.
Sorry, it was my
I'll be
old
your
man
eyes.
eyes. Yeah. In approximately, I need a Neuralink. In approximately 10% of cases. So 10% error rate. That means
That's a lot.
this system, that's a lot. And you're talking about
People's lives.
families, right?
Yeah.
And I don't care where you fall on this. I'm just saying this is nuts. This is not going to be just unique to this war. This is going to happen here. Trump's second day in office, he started Project Stargate, $500 billion fund to AI, right? That's Sam Altman, who we'll get to in a minute. Larry Ellison, who is insane. Larry Ellison is an insane person. I think he's Oracle. Larry Ellison's on video saying we are going to make it a surveillance state that will make people on their best behavior. So like he was talking about police cameras, body cams, right? Which I think are actually not, that's a good thing, right? We want accountability for the police. But he's talking about how it'll even be on when they take their bathroom breaks and that we just won't watch it, but it'll be recorded. And then if it needs to be released through a court order, they can release the bathroom footage. Like, what does it say? Like, this is this dude.
Listen to it.
Yeah, Oracle CEO. Yeah, listen to this. This is insane.
Securing schools. We think we can absolutely lock down schools so that dramatically reduce the case of anyone being on campus that doesn't belong on campus, and immediately alert. The second someone pulls out a gun, immediately alert. Use AI cameras to immediately recognize that. But we keep everyone off campus that doesn't belong on campus. The police, another thing. Body cameras. We completely redesigned body cameras. Our body cameras cost $70. Normal body camera costs, I don't know, $7,000. Our body cameras are simply lenses, two lenses attached to your vest, attached to the smartphone that you're wearing. And we actually take the video that the police officer is, by the way, and the camera's always on. You don't turn it on and off. And by the way you turn it on, you can't turn it on. I'm going to the bathroom. Oracle,
Here we go.
I need 2 minutes to take a bathroom break, and we'll turn it off. The truth is,
We'll turn it off.
We don't really turn it off. What we do is we record it so no one can see it.
Oh,
But no one can get into that recording without a court order.
Bro, I can't
you
stand
get
these
the
people. I can't stand these people.
That's wild.
He does go on to say, well, people will be on their best behavior, right?
Do you want to?
See, yeah, because it's worth
This is
hearing him say
requested.
it.
But a court order, if you get a court order, we will, judge, can order, I want to look at that, this so-called bathroom break.
So-called bathroom break.
Something comes up. And plus, I'm going to lunch with my friends. Oracle, I need an hour for privacy with lunch with my friends. God bless. We won't listen in.
This guy's 200
unless
years
there's a
old, by
court
the way.
order. But it's interesting. But we transmit the video
It's got a
back
Neuralink.
Yeah.
to
We signed a contract with Scientology.
headquarters. So headquarters and AI is constantly monitoring the video. Remember this terrible case in Memphis where the 5 police officers basically beat to death another a citizen in Memphis? Well, that can't happen because it would be on TV at headquarters. Everyone would see it. Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything.
Dude, this guy was standing next to Trump on day 2 of this administration, getting $500 billion to fund these people. Y'all know I like Trump, but this is really bad. These people are building the surveillance state that will be worse than every novel we've ever read about the surveillance state.
This is an insane invasion of privacy
Yeah.
that he is suggesting here. And he wants to do this to your children.
Yeah.
They were the first things he mentioned in that video is we want to watch your kids.
Yep.
Not to mention, he also said that we want to watch your kids when they go to the bathroom.
Right.
So consider that.
It's insane. And also consider the fact that these body cams, although I like the idea of it to hold the police accountable for things,
I'm just gonna say that.
everyone in that view of the camera is now injected into the database for Oracle. Just like, look, I know I talk about this all the time, but it's worth noting, Trump's biggest donor from 2015 to currently is Peter Thiel, right? This guy has funded most of the surveillance state since 9/11, right? His company Palantir was funded by the CIA. That's a data collecting company. And they do this kind of thing that makes it possible for something like AI Lavender to do what it does, right? But something else he funded is Clearview AI. And Clearview AI is a huge database of facial recognition. And they scraped every single picture off the internet to get your photo. So that means even if you're in the background of a photo on the internet, you're now in their database. And you can now see how that is used by something like AI Lavender to go after people, right? So if someone in Gaza has the wrong name that sounds like someone else's name,
It looks like someone else.
you're part of that 10%.
Yeah.
Boom, you're done. If the same thing with the UK stuff going on with their murder prediction stuff, this does not end well. And like you're saying, this is the death of privacy. It's done. It's already done because we've had people on the show talk about like when we had Ashton Forbes on, he talks about the Malaysian plane that goes missing. But something he talks about a lot that I love a lot is that he put me onto this. Lockheed Martin has spy satellites up there right now that global heat map the entire Earth constantly. So what Larry Ellison's saying about watching everything all the time, those satellites are doing right now. So anything that's bad that happens in the world, they know. They're not stopping it. So what's to say his body cams and those police are going to stop anything?
Well, that's how we
That's
also
how it
talked
works.
about the drones that were in New Jersey, and that sparked the conversation of just drones are just going to take over this guy.
Right. And they will.
They will have the ability to black out the sun for Bill Gates.
Oh yeah.
He won't even need dust. He'll just use drones.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. And so Larry Ellison is transhumanist. Just to bring it all back to that stuff. Neuralink is a transhumanist technology, even though the benefits are short-term benefits. I totally understand. How do I want to take the sight away from someone who's blind? It sounds amazing. I want to help these people. Peter Thiel is a transhumanist. You can look up Ambrosia. It's a blood company where young men donate their blood for rich people to inject it into their veins to live forever. And that's based on a study where old mice were sewn to young mice, and you could see the transfer of health.
That is the base definition of being a vampire.
Yo, literally, I call them Silicon Valley vampires. Like, and Teal is a vampire. You can look it up.
There you go.
You can look Ambrosia, the startup harvesting the blood of the young. Come on. Can you like search this really quick to see if Peter Thiel's even in this article? Because he might be.
Okay.
Like, I just find this dude.
It's not a great article.
You gotta pay.
Yeah,
you gotta pay to read about the transhumanist agenda. Thanks, Guardian. Guarding, gatekeeping, important information right now. But $8,000 a bag. This company went under for a little bit and had to rebrand as another company. Okay. That company didn't do well, so I think they actually became Ambrosia again. Ambrosia, for those listening, if you don't know, is the food of the gods in Greek mythology. Interesting. Peter Thiel is very, very interested in young people's blood. When was this written?
Well, what is it, Ink?
2016.
Okay.
Dude, this guy sweats blood. If you ever watch interviews with him, like Dave Rubin has him on all the time. Like, he's a darling of the right.
He's got pretty good skin, so you know.
He does not. He's bloody skin. It's blood. This dude is insane.
You think he's just showering in it, like in his house? He's not even just injecting. He's just putting it on his face and just, pulling a Buffalo Bob.
Elizabeth Bathory, or the first alleged serial killer. Very possible. Very possible. This guy, it's funny because I think he's extremely smart. This dude is very smart, and he says a lot of things I think a lot of us would agree with. Like, he sees the cultural rot, the problem with colleges, but he also created JD Vance in a test tube. Like, this is JD Vance's mentor, literally. Like, Vance saw him speak at Yale. Vance was impressed, and Thiel funded his whole venture capitalist firm. So they're very close, which is why I don't really trust him, because I really don't trust Peter Thiel.
This is 2020. No, this is still 2016. Dang, I thought I had some.
And it sucks that all these things are like left-leaning publications writing them because they hate him so much. Or like, he's a Trump donor. Yeah. But like the whole thing, the way I see the rebrand, Thiel was an early adopter of Trump because he's really smart and he understood where politics and culture was going after being an Obama voter, which unfortunately I can relate to. He then jumped ship and went to Trump and as one of his biggest donors. But then you saw all the rebranding of the Silicon Valley, Zuckerberg, Elon, all these guys we just listened to, Ellison, Altman. They all went from being hardcore, Biden or left-leaning, to Trump. I think at a survival. That's my opinion. And the one thing Biden ever said, the one thing that corpse ever said that I liked was on his last day in office, he called it the tech industrial complex, echoing my favorite speech from any president, from Eisenhower on his last day in office when he coined the phrase military industrial complex. And I do see that as this Silicon Valley is an extension of the military industrial complex. And Trump, unfortunately, absorbed it all into this administration and now is funding them to create things beyond like your worst nightmares. And now we're seeing data centers being built. Like we're somewhat near Loudoun County in Virginia. And that is the data center capital of the world. Maybe just a country. I don't want to speak out of line, but it might be the world. They have 1 million, and I'm also exaggerating now. They have a lot of data centers in Loudoun County to help run the AI. Because I forget what the exact number is, but asking AI a question takes way more energy than it does to ask Google a question. So whereas data centers used to be in a closet in buildings back in the day, now we have entire factories of data farms.
Yeah, warehouses.
Huge warehouses. And a lot of that $500 billion that Trump did for Stargate is going towards building, these data centers. And there's people out in Loudoun County who are like, when it snows, man, it's weird how snow just doesn't touch these things. It's bizarre. Like I think we're going to find out in the future these things are not good to be around. Not at all. Like even RFK Jr. talked about 5G and stuff. I don't think that's people that's a conspiracy. I think doing anything is just not good for us. Like clearly, all the things we've talked about so far in this episode, it's just not good for humans. But it's unavoidable, I guess. But maybe it is avoidable to just build all these centers of destruction of your privacy and
humanity is going to pay the price for their transgression.
Oh yeah,
100%. It's been happening for years, but it just seems like it's getting to an alarming scale now.
And oh, dude, it's gonna get. Can you imagine? I remember seeing Tim use AI like Midjourney or something just a few years ago, and it was a joke. We were all laughing how silly it was. This is so silly. Like he's making chickens, and it wasn't that great, but it was funny, right? in just the 2 years since then, there's people easily believe AI images. There's people paying AI OnlyFans. Like there's AI anything you want.
That's crazy because the amount of money that an AI
Yep.
model makes, not even a real person, the
Yep.
amount of money that people are generating in revenue for an
Yep.
AI model is insane.
They don't care.
It's more money than I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just some dude running an AI. You know, I see people on Twitter as threads that go viral. Someone's like, it's always some dude. This is how I made 20 million off of my AI model. She's not real, you know, and it's some chick, and it's like, that is believable. I can see how people believe it. Then you look and it's like nothing moves. Like it's just it's terrible. It's terrible. It sickens me. And I'm like, why do young men fall for that? Like, why are people? Is it because we're so alone
Yeah.
that
maybe.
people do it? Which then goes back to this whole thing. These AI people say like we're going to create a thing that's a tool that's better for humanity, and then I'm like, well, okay, we all have smartphones now. Everyone's allegedly smarter, but we're more isolated and drugged up and alone and suicidal as a culture than we've ever been, and we've known that for years now. So if having smartphones made us that much worse than like the internet, why do you think now AI, which is way more powerful than that, is going to make us any better? You know, I don't see that happening. I don't think there's going to be all of a sudden like a switch in people's ethics being like, you know, it's going to make me a better person. It's going to make you more isolated. It's going to make you sadder. And it's going to rob you of the physical world completely.
I mean, I know during the pandemic, just watching the civil unrest and everything that was happening, you know, people, you know, the stuff that happened in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks of watching that was enough for me to shut down a lot of my social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I still paid attention to current event and things that were going on in the world, but there was a lot of stuff happening that was just openly broadcasted that was actually giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'm safe in my home,
Yeah.
in my room, in my bed, scrolling on my phone, and I can feel
Oh yeah.
what is happening through this, you know, this personal device.
Yep.
Well, that's
that
the
I've
thing.
got.
I think as soon as you open up your phone, as soon as you're on social media or turn on the TV, you are inundated with anxiety without, even if you don't even realize it's anxiety.
Which
it's
might
there.
make it more so like that way that they can summon fear and anxiety in us through the phones. They're also able to summon, I'm putting love in quotes for those listening, but the way these guys fall in love with AI models or whatever it is, right? Because they don't really, I don't think, know love outside of their bubble. So they're experiencing love. Someone's talking to them. And I think they fall for it. It's like that movie Her. I think we talked about that recently, right?
We used to call it getting catfished.
Yeah. Same idea.
What do we call that now?
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Botfish,
Botfish,
maybe?
Yeah.
Botfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catbot. Botfish. Botfish
Like
sounds gross.
You've heard of Big Brother before. Now get ready for Big Daddy. You know, like
Oh,
it's
God.
It's here. It's here. It's happening. It's here. You know, like we don't have to do the Massive Blue thing, but like just to people just tie that one up real quick. It's like that's a firm that creates AI personalities to go out there and try to trick people. I'm sure if you've spent any time on Twitter, you've encountered bots. You know, that's a whole other thing we talk about, dead internet theory. But this article is just like the college protester isn't real. This college protester isn't real. It's an AI-powered undercover bot for cops. So Massive Blue is, that's right, used by cops to go undercover and like they come up with profiles. And Massive Blue actually has like almost like a menu of personalities. You know, it's like but they're very, very like silly. They're caricatures. Blue haired, you know, divorcee, feminist, you know. So what does it say? Detect, disrupt, deter, discuss. The 4 Ds from Massive Blue. Massive Blue safeguards society from the exponential rise and continuous evolution of threats. Our rapidly deployable solutions empower our customers to efficiently address these risks. Imagine if this is one of our advertisers.
Oh, God.
It would never. Overwatch. I love that they use that word. Overwatch. Force multiplier solutions for law enforcement, public safety, defense, and private security agencies. This is it. I mean, I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's
Now everyone watching this show has anxiety.
good. So what was the other? I had another story I want to pull up.
Pope.
Yeah.
Go there.
Let's do the Pope. Let's do the Pope.
Let's do.
Chi-Town.
Hey,
Represent.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Chi-Town.
Chicago's
We
taking
got
over.
Chicago here right now. Chicago's in the studio. Chicago's in the Vatican.
Chicago's taking over.
How much did you know about this Pope beforehand? Is he like a fixture in Chicago?
He was a cardinal there. I'm not super religious.
Yeah.
For reasons I won't get into right now, but it was one of those things where we knew that he was going to the Vatican for this.
Oh, really?
It was aforementioned that there were 46 or some odd cardinals. I could give or take a number. I could be wrong on that, but there were a lot of cardinals in there for the discussion of who was going to be the next pope, and we knew that he was included in there because it was all over the news. Oh, hey, there's a cardinal from Chicago is in there. So Chicago was eating this up and putting it into the media, which I still see all the Chicago news on my phone.
Okay, yeah.
It's only been out here a couple months, but so I'm looking through them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I seen it right before they announced and the smoke came out, you know, that I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if he actually, was selected to be Pope, and then like literally an hour later,
That's crazy.
and the next thing you know, you've got, people on Facebook posting Portillo's signs behind the Vatican. They did pictures of him baptizing a beef sandwich, instead of a baby.
Is that real?
It's all out there. It's all out there. There's another one where they showed him his first entrance coming out, and somebody queued up the Chicago Bulls entrance theme from 1996 behind him. It was like, dan, 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 dan,
Yeah, I saw
dan,
that.
dan.
That was
So
good.
they're already losing their minds over it. And in Chicago, we have a very love-hate relationship with Green Bay for football reasons.
Right.
And they're already, stuff like, oh, yeah, Chicago, 1 Pope, Green Bay, 0. That's all you need to know, so.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, Chicago's also known for a lot of corruption.
Yes.
So I wonder, I don't know how
Yes,
the Catholic Church is out there.
Our governors are very, very commonly jailed.
You didn't like Blagojevich? One of my favorite names.
I'll
never forget it.
He was pardoned.
Yeah, he
Dominus.
was. That's right. That's right.
So there's that whole thing. I would love it if the current governor were thrown in jail for something, because
Yeah.
I have never seen a person more systematically bleed a state dry in my life
Yeah.
than what that man is doing, and the things that. And he was reelected, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he wants to implement things like charging people in the state per mile driven.
Ugh. What's his name?
This is J.B. Pritzker.
Pritzker. Right. Pritzker.
We have some very horrible names that we've derived from the word Pritzker, as I'm sure you can probably guess.
Well, maybe Rahm Emanuel will save you. Isn't he going to run or something?
I don't know. At this point, it's
Hulk.
all up in the air in my head, and I'm like, I'm trying to remove myself from that setting now because of how much stress
Yeah.
that place really causes.
poor
I mean,
city.
I love the big city setting. I've been there for 30 plus years. I've never lived anywhere else until now. And just, I was talking to Tim's mom literally yesterday about this. The freedom
Yeah.
that you have out here in comparison to a place like that, when it's just little things coming down to like emissions testing. She's like, she's like, here, I went to go get my emissions test, and they just said, what's the make and model of the vehicle? And she told them, and they're like, all right, here's your sticker.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like, they didn't hook up your tailpipe to like an air exhaust system and
yeah,
test the carbons going on, because no, they don't care.
Sounds like
here.
Canada.
Yeah, but it's just so densely populated in that city and just in that state in general that they have all these, EPA has all these laws for what you can and can't put in the air, and what, like it's they want to charge every year something goes up.
Yeah.
Like, I own a condo back there, and my property taxes literally doubled last year for absolutely no reason at all.
Yep.
And it's getting to the point to where it's almost unlivable.
Yep. That's exactly the word I use when I talk about leaving New York and the property taxes. And then we have 3 kids, and it's unlivable.
Yeah.
They
And
don't-
New York
it's
is its own
anti-family.
monster, so you understand entirely.
Oh yeah. It's brutal. And like, we lived in the city for a little bit, but we lived upstate, just a little like fake upstate. Those listening from New York, upstate, real upstate's way up in Rochester and South Buffalo. We lived an hour and a half north of New York City, so everyone considers it upstate.
Yeah.
But the city ruins it for everybody, even in that area, in like where I was, because the property taxes are insane. They don't want you to have a family.
No.
They don't want you to survive. They don't want you to eat. They really just want to bleed you dry.
They don't even want you to be single.
Right.
Like, they don't want you to be single and alive and vetting for yourself. I was, I think, working 2 jobs for 2 or 3 years, like a 9 to 5, and then like a bar back job that I was doing. Shout out Bottom Lounge.
Nice.
And it was just so that I could have extra money to like, hey, I want to stock my fridge up.
Yeah.
You know, while I'm working 60, 70-hour weeks, I want to come home and be able to make dinner, not have to go out and hemorrhage money to fast food chains that are already upping their prices and everything.
Yep.
And it's becoming so crazy to just survive out there as a person on your own.
Imagine how much easier it's going to be when you can just go into the metaverse and you can have your wife there. You can have your little Tamagotchi kids there, and just live out an immortal life in the metaverse. That's what people will do.
I just want to know if I start thinking about cheeseburgers, it's just going to appear in front of me.
That or a drone is going to snipe you through the window.
Yeah.
An anti-cheeseburger drone.
I don't even eat cheeseburgers. I'm just
Maha drone. Our face is like, no, we're shooting that burger right out of your hands.
No,
yeah, the drones. That
you can't have cows; they fart too much.
Yeah.
Bill Gates drones.
God.
Can you pull up the Pope thing? Because he was talking about aliens, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I sent you?
This
Oh
one?
yeah. Oh wait. Is that
Yeah.
what I sent you? Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Let's hear this. News Nation's
Shortly
on top
after
of
the
the UFO stuff lately. All right, let's hear
death
it.
of Pope Francis, we reported on the prospect that a new pope might just let a few rays of sunshine into that vast and heavily guarded treasure trove, and maybe let a few secrets out. Specifically, what the Vatican knows about extraterrestrial visitors and how the Vatican knows it. It turns out Pope Leo XIV has a spiritual connection to the Vatican's long history of astronomical research and a personal connection to a land where mysterious phenomena
I want someone to hold a
aren't
microphone
confined to
like
the
that
heavens.
for me on this show.
They are literally carved into the
Not you. We'll hire
ground.
someone.
I'm going to dig into all of this, chapter and verse, in this jam-packed hour-long special
How
on the
long is this clip?
connection
It's an hour
between
long.
the
Oh, yeah, we don't
Vatican
do that.
and
Jam-packed.
whatever truth may
18
be
minutes.
out there. So let's get started. I sure didn't think when I got up today that I'd be covering a European election. But how often do just one about as likely as a female pope? But now, as you may have heard, Cardinal Robert Prevost, holder of both U.S. and Peruvian citizenship, has become Pope Leo XIV. And that name is a very big reason we are taking our true crime hats off tonight and putting on our mystery hats, or shall I say our mystery miters.
Oh boy.
Okay, a lot has been made already about why the successor of Peter and the immediate successor of Francis took the name Leo. The last Pope Leo ruled for 25 years at the end of the 19th century. He's known as the social justice pope, using the ultimate pulpit to speak up for workers' rights and
This guy
economic
looks
fairness.
like Bernie Sanders.
In
and
fact, the Vatican has now
thinks like
confirmed the
Bernie
new
Sanders.
pope picked his new name for that very reason. But you know what else Pope Leo XIII did? He established the Vatican Observatory, cementing the church's long-standing fascination with the heavens. Not just heaven, either.
Want to get rid of this
Oh my
visceral
goodness. Look at
fat?
I
this.
do actually. Hang on, let me see this.
Oh my goodness.
Sneaks up on you.
Hey, it's
doesn't
Dr.
it?
Drew.
Now, the Vatican operates a state-of-the-art telescope system on the outskirts of Rome and Mount Graham in Arizona. Vatican astronomers collaborate with astronomers in leading institutions worldwide. Their findings, their methods, and their research, like all Vatican records, are preserved for the ages, you guessed it, in the Vatican archives. And they could help answer an ancient debate. Whether centuries-old sightings of angels and other heavenly beings were actually extraterrestrials, non-human visitors
that
from
picture's amazing.
somewhere else in the universe, you
Great
know,
painting.
like the Tic Tacs that we've been seeing lately. Aliens or angels or anything you call them all, that's captivated UFO researchers and conspiracy theorists since the last Pope Leo wore that hat. And when Francis died, many hoped that the transition would bring about an opening of the archive doors. Pope Francis, by the way, just last fall authorized an expansion of the Vatican archives and library, which already comprise
stop.
50 miles of
I'm
shelving.
curious where this will go. Because like the Catholic Church has been open in the past few years, as far as my limited knowledge of the Catholic Church, about the acceptance of aliens or extraterrestrials. So like, are they building up to something, you know, like a disclosure as we're having all this disclosure over here? Or is it something different?
LFG is what I'm gonna say because I want to see this. I think a lot of people do. My whole thing, my entire life, is that Tom DeLonge was right. For Blink-182,
He's been on top of it.
he has been doing amazing things
Yep.
for a long time with this, and I love the guy. He's amazing, and I hope that this is a segue to us getting some real information when it
Could
comes
you
to this.
imagine a future where Tom DeLonge is in the Vatican archives?
I can.
Yeah, I can too. Actually.
I'm dreaming about it
can too.
as we speak.
Yeah, he got mocked by Rogan on Rogan about some of the things he was saying, and then like a year or two later, those things came out. You know, I do want to say, like, I don't trust everything the government puts out. So even if it did corroborate things Tom was saying, you know, I don't immediately be like, oh, could I trust it? You know, because I think they're trying to build towards a narrative to instill fear in people. I think something's going on out there in the world, something that we don't understand. But the more and more I hear the government try to tell me things, I'm like, I don't know if it's that exact thing. But they certainly know stuff or have stuff. Like you were saying, I think it was before we went live about some of the crafts that we have, right? And I think all these governments have something.
Yeah, we've got the CIA guy claiming that the U.S. is in possession of more than 10 or 20 of these things, and not even counting, you know, other states and other countries and what they've recovered on their side. Yeah. That's just us alone,
right?
You know, and you know, you've got Area 51, which is one of just the most widely known areas for where they're storing this stuff and stuff like that, and all the, you know, the stuff that surrounds that. And you know, the government always has to have a statement, right?
Yeah.
In anything that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we've got to draft a statement. We've officially got 24 hours to release these photos and whatever before something happens. You know, same thing with NASA.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just crazy because never has there been any actual definitive evidence given to us from the government that we can say that we can trust.
Yeah.
Right? It's always just been doctored photos and alien autopsy videos and stuff like that. But having this guy come out and say, hey, no, I'm telling you, that's just here. Mm-hmm. We've got that. It's confirmed. I'm telling you that right now. And this is CIA.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little hard to ignore when something like that happens.
I'm my ears are I'm listening. But the CIA telling me things, I'm like, why are they telling me now?
You mean to tell me that there's all these documents that are there and they've just been so good at, you know, disclosing it, hiding it, keeping it a secret, and not putting it out? They're that good at their job.
Well, they could have. Yeah, I think there are parts of the government, like there's the part of the government that's completely incompetent that we see, and then there's the part of the government that has been in control for a long time, that understands how to control narratives and hide things. You know, it's possible. You know, I don't know what they have, but the CIA has been open about it a lot lately. And former CIA, and I don't think there's such a thing as former CIA. I think you pretend to be former CIA. You're cosplaying.
Oh, you never leave.
You're
you
cosplaying.
can never really leave the CIA.
No, you're never. So why? I'm just always questioning, why are they telling me this now? And it's been a slow burn of disclosure for a while. It's really ramped up recently, which has been fun for the show. But like in 2015 and 2016, I always mention this. The New York Times put out an article saying we were in possession of vehicles not made of this earth. That was the phrase. What does that even mean? You know, like, I know what that means, but like, why did no one care? Why was that just forgotten about? But now it ties directly into what you're just saying about the CIA guy. So they have something. And there's other people out there saying these might not be from space. They might be from another dimension. You know, they might be from underwater. And there's been hearings, we've talked about this a bunch, where Senate hearings, they start talking about UFOs that are from under the water. Like in the ocean. And the second they start talking about those things at the hearings, they're like, this is a behind closed doors discussion. We can't talk about this publicly.
Well, the last thing we want to do is generate civil unrest, you know, because God forbid we have riots over aliens.
In our civilized society, yeah.
Alien lives matter. That'd be a fun one.
I don't know.
UFOs protesting.
Well, the crazy thing, to your point here, is thinking about the fact that, you know, and obviously we've only got what astronomers and stuff have told us, you know, like going all the way back to Copernicus, you know, placing the sun at the center of the universe, you know. We really don't know but from the information that we've been given, from what we believe, there's nowhere inhabitable near us, except for Mars, apparently. But
Allegedly.
nowhere where life has been able to form and grow a civilization, right? So if we are seeing these crafts or these vehicles from other places, a dimensionary is crazy to think about that, but when we discuss how long it would take to get to these places, then you're looking at AU, you're looking at light speed, right? And if these people are able to achieve that, if these civilizations are able to achieve that, even if these are unmanned crafts, maybe they're flown by their own version of AI, maybe they have a Bill Gates, who knows?
Oh yeah, great.
You know,
maybe
but
Bill
you
Gates
would,
is that.
Yeah, and maybe he's the alien, and he's here, and that's why they're coming out with it now. You know, who knows? But you would have to think that they have some kind of way of interdimensional travel or of light speed travel to be able to get all the way to us. Yeah. So the fact that, and you know, you talk about manipulating wormholes and black holes to travel to other parts of space. Like
Another
just
thing that's in the news
tears in
lately.
time.
Yeah, there's a guy saying he's created the technology that would open wormholes. I think we're on the cusp of something big happening. Like, so, whether you believe it or not, they're going to try to change the way we view reality in a big way. And it could be with alien disclosure, it could be with technology, all of it together. And it's been a slow burn. Like the Ashton Forbes
they've been doing
thing,
it for years. Yeah.
Like I have my criticisms of the video he talks about, but like I always say, the thing that's most important about it is that technology, whatever it is, it either exists or they've been working on it to create portals, to all this stuff. Like we know that. We know they do all these things that are crazy with our money. And then I was gonna what was I gonna say earlier? Oh yeah, it reminded me of just like secret operations. You know, I think this is actually a little tie over from the episode we did with Austin. But like we have there in I think it's near Frederick, Maryland. There's a crazy bioweapons base, and that it has been connected to. You remember the anthrax letters thing?
Yeah. Yeah, where they were just sending letters to people, and
that
they just open
anthrax
and just boom, anthrax.
allegedly came from that
Fort Detrick.
Fort Detrick. Like it came from there, you know. And then the guy who was involved in it, they said who was doing it, like he died suspiciously, and they don't even think he might have been this actual suspect. And this is all happening. They were saying in regards to the Patriot Act being passed to drum up fear.
Yeah,
kind of like the Unabomber was doing. MK Ultra guy, by the way. So it's just fascinating. Yeah, you know, just talking about the things we have in our possession. In these laboratories, that's just anthrax. You know, think about then all the weird stuff they've got. Like I know you said Area 51, but there's all these underground things. We got Mount Weather nearby. We got all these doomsday bunkers that the government has created to basically become a breakaway civilization when things go wrong. Right?
Yeah, to select the top members of the community to come and rebuild the new world.
Exactly. I just watched Terminator last night. And we are there. You know, like if a nuclear holocaust happens, robots rise up. I think the government already has AGI.
They don't even need a nuclear holocaust now.
Yeah.
If Elon has these cyborgs as they are, and they're already weaponized and trained to kill. I seen a video.
Hey, don't talk about his baby mamas like that.
Yeah, he probably has like 3 or 4 of them. This is the picture with him kissing one, right?
Yes.
It just completely blew my train of thought.
Oh, sorry,
Thinking
dude.
of Elon
Sorry.
making out with
Cyborgs.
a robot now, and it's
He's built
unbelievable.
cyborgs
Yeah, so,
taking over.
If you think about that, he's got Starlink.
Yep.
He's got all these satellites in orbit now. You know, free internet. That's a great expose.
Oh yeah.
You know, realistically, those satellites control those drones.
Yeah.
Those drones can move anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And do whatever they want to. And I mean, we can reference Star Wars here and say execute Order 66.
Right.
And all those drones pull out a gun and turn on their families. They want you to buy a drone.
Yep.
They want you to buy a robot, bring it into your house, let it raise your kids.
Yep.
$30,000. It's not that big of a deal, you know. Just take out a second home loan. You got your own robot. It'll do your housework for you. It's very convenient. Yes. It also learns every single intimate detail about you. It knows your patterns. It knows the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and it knows at the end of the day the easiest way to get rid of you.
Yep.
And make no mistake, if they ever really wanted to, they could flip that switch.
100%.
They have the capability, not us.
100%.
And you can't turn it off.
Yep.
You have no capability of turning it off.
And then think about Starlink having all these defense contracts with the spy satellite, with our government to operate the spy satellites. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the idea is tantalizing, thinking that, hey, we could send an army of these things to go fight instead of American men and women dying in war. That's a beautiful thing.
For sure.
But the other side of that coin is so much more terrifying.
I totally agree.
So much more terrifying.
I mean, Anduril is another company Peter Thiel funded, started by Palmer Luckey. Palmer Luckey started the Oculus headset, bought by Meta. Then he was kicked out of Meta for being, I don't know what he was doing. He's kind of a funny guy. But they're creating killer robots. He does say, though, and I appreciate this about him, that the violence that happens at war maybe shouldn't become all remote. It's like my issue with drones. Like, I understand what you're saying. I agree about, like, maybe we can save lives. There's also something that becomes really dystopian about having armies of robots and people at home remote controlling it. Like, I feel uncomfortable with the drones, like.
Well, they won't even be controlled by us. So we're talking about robots that have AI, that have minds of their own. So they are going to be in tactical situations, making their own decisions based off of the greater needs of whoever is turning the dials.
It's definitely going to happen. We got ghost drones now that they're creating. The cyborgs are coming. It's going to be very interesting.
I seen a video the other day of one of those drone dogs.
Oh, yeah.
The headless ones with just the legs that do this. And it had a flamethrower on its back.
Yeah. I've seen that. It's great.
Is the one that's attacking the guy, and he jumps into the pool, and he's, like, trying to get away from it, and it's firing 10-foot flames at him for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
what's wrong with that?
That's considered a malfunction?
Yeah. Dude, Mark Andreessen brags about, this is one of those tech guys, Silicon Valley. He's in Doge now, I guess, or part of in Doge, partly in Doge. He brags about having robot dogs that can run faster than you. It's like, it's wild. It's wild. We're in for a really rough ride. I think they're starting to understand how weird it's going to get with everyone is going to be replaced with their jobs by a machine. It's going to be like the fourth industrial revolution.
And that's already started happening. If you look at grocery stores now.
Yep.
Self-checkout counters are the only thing that you can go to.
There's your dog right there.
Yeah. Was his name the Detonator? Was that
Terminator?
The Terminator.
The Terminator. Great.
Like Terminator.
Right.
That is terrifying.
Right. Jeez.
Dun 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 dun.
I love that soundtrack.
Dun dun
it's
dun dun dun.
Incredible soundtrack. Terminator is really, really good. It's a blueprint for the world we're going to be inheriting.
This is a robot with a flamethrower on its back and the capability to run faster than you.
What could go wrong?
And I'm just sitting here thinking about World War Z. You see that one?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah,
it's exactly that.
Yep.
Maybe not zombies, but maybe.
Could be.
But it ends in the same way with the bunkers and everything.
That's right. Yep.
Zombie cyborgs.
Yeah.
Great.
When a computer virus turns an entire army of cyborgs into something like a zombie that is just trained to come at you and kill you at all costs, and maybe not eat your flesh,
right?
But it's definitely going to end your life.
And that's where John McAfee reappears after allegedly killing himself all those years ago. The guy who made the McAfee antivirus stuff. Mm-hmm. I always think he's going to come back. He doesn't really feel dead to me. Like, I think McAfee is just waiting for the right time, and that would be the right time.
Maybe he's one of the brains that they've got stashed there.
Dude, there's no controlling that guy's brain.
He's playing Doom right now somewhere.
He's just relearning. He's retraining.
Doom.
He'll be like a McAfee RoboCop. Like, that's what they'll bring back.
Yeah.
He'll be pissed, but
running scan.
Well, this is a fun episode, guys. I had a good time.
I know. I'm just like anxiety ridden now. Thanks.
I know. I have to go play. I have to go play in the sunshine with my
Welcome
children.
Welcome to the
new world. But this was a good one. There's a lot of good stuff we talked about in this. So this is a pre-record. I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry, everybody, for a pre-record, but family stuff took over. So this will be airing, and we will be with our families. And you can always send me your stories. Please do that. Get some callers at Shane Cashman at scanner.com. You know where to find me online, at Shane Cashman, all those places. I like to talk about Bill Gates taking over Elon Musk, all the Silicon Valley vampires who want your soul, if they don't already have it. Alex, what about you? Where can they find you?
I am Alex Ayala on X, and I'm just here for the jokes, I guess. I don't know.
And our new Chicago resident, where can they find you online? Or how are you?
I just started bringing my social media back out from the dead again. So you can check me out on Instagram at Brando Boonies. There's not much there, but I promise I'm not a fake bot. We're going to get content up soon. I also help with the Boonies skate team for Tim. You can check us out at Boonies HQ on YouTube and on Instagram as well.
And soon enough, enough helping us out with Inverted World as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. We're stoked. It was a really fun conversation.
I'm super
man.
stoked. This was very fun.
Really
I
good
appreciate
time.
the opportunity you guys having me on. This is
Yeah,
awesome, and I think it's going to be cool going forward.
Yeah. Eventually, we might not be in this coffin anymore.
We may
in
not.
this room.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Stay tuned.
Changes are coming. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week. See ya.